WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 5.
A new era of Michigan State football is now starting with the official announcement of a new head coach. It's our top story at 5. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jorma Duran. Pat Fitzgerald is now the 27th head coach in MSU football history. Fitzgerald was officially hired on Monday and arrived in East Lansing today. 6 Sports Director Ian Kress was at Fitzgerald's press conference earlier today. He's joining us now live from Michigan State's campus. Ian, what did you learn today about the new man in charge?
Hey Jorma, Pat Fitzgerald is fired up to be back coaching again in the Big Ten, especially at a place like Michigan State. Fitzgerald knows all about the passion Spartans have for their football program. He knows that from his time as a player as well as a coach at Northwestern. Fitzgerald said there was about 8 teams in the mix to hire him as a head coach, and when he got off the phone with Michigan State, he could sense the excitement his family had for the opportunity, and that really helped solidify things for him. Fitzgerald said he too knows this is not going to be easy, and he is hitting the ground running. Early signing day is tomorrow, so the first priority for Fitzgerald, reaching out to the players that are currently committed to the program. He's been making phone calls since yesterday. He's also been reaching out and meeting with players on the current team. Fitzgerald had a meeting with the team this morning to talk about his vision for the program. Now, going back to the summer when athletic director Jay Batt got hired, he said he envisions Michigan State being a top 10 athletic department that starts with football, and that commitment to building this program back up was big for Fitzgerald.
When we started having our conversations, I got really excited to see the alignment, by President Guskowitz and his vision on where he wants the athletics department to be. Jay articulated, to be a top 10 athletics department driven with success in football, discussing, different areas within supporting the players and supporting the program. That was my focus. And as I looked around the landscape and we see some I would call them, non-traditional powers that are playing for conference championships or maybe in the playoff conversation, you better believe Michigan State should be in that conversation. And that's my job, and that's why I'm here, and that's the staff that I'm going to bring.
Fitzgerald did add he had a conversation with former football coach Jonathan Smith yesterday. He called Smith a great friend and told Smith he is going to help the team through this transition period. Well, much more with Fitzgerald coming up on 6 News at 6. For now, live at Michigan State's campus, Ian Kress, 6 Sports.
Ian, all right, we appreciate that. Well, fans in East Lansing are reacting to the Spartans' new man at the helm, and it turns out there are mixed reactions. 6 News reporter Zach Prees is here for you now with what people are saying.
Many Spartan fans were unhappy with this last season, which was soon followed by the firing of head coach Jonathan Smith after just his 2nd season with the team. But it seems as if the Spartans have found a new man at the helm, and he comes from inside the conference.
Michigan State is turning to former Northwestern head football coach Pat Fitzgerald, the university announced yesterday. Fitzgerald guided the Wildcats to 2 Big Ten West Division titles as well as 10 bowl game appearances, and has some fans in East Lansing hopeful he can build a winning culture here just like he did at Northwestern. However, some are more cautious, saying they wish the Spartans would have explored other options.
I just think, in my opinion, since I've been following football my whole life, I think they should have explored their options more and not just jumped the gun, because the season's over. They have the whole offseason. So I think they kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but I mean, he's a solid coach, so I guess we'll just see what happens from here.
Some fans are taking a little bit more of an optimistic approach, saying that they think that Coach Fitzgerald could build a culture at MSU. Stay tuned for 6 News at 6. We have more fan reactions. Reporting in Lansing for 6 News, I'm Zach Prees.
All right, well, today, as part of Michigan State University's Uncommon Will, Far Better World campaign, the athletics department announced what they're calling For Sparta, the capital initiative for MSU athletics worth $1 billion. For Sparta is a $1 billion initiative designed to elevate facilities, enhance the student-athlete experience, and secure Michigan State's position as a leader in college athletics. It'll provide Michigan State athletics the strategic resources for facilities and overall program investment to compete at the highest levels. MSU Athletics has already taken in nearly $250 million towards its billion-dollar goal. And so be sure to stay with 6 News on air, online, and through our 6 News app for the latest on the new MSU head football coach and about the new $1 billion plan. The city of Charlotte is in the midst of a few staffing shakeups. The city clerk left in November. Its city attorney almost left, but just recently settled on a new contract. And now city manager Robert Hilliard announced his resignation. That's now causing a rift. Karina Prieto attended the city's special meeting on Hilliard's replacement this morning, and she's here for you now with what she found out. Good evening, Karina.
Good evening, Jorma. That's correct. This morning's meeting focused on what direction the city will take in recruiting a new manager, and tensions were high among some of the council members.
We decided that calling a meeting as quickly as we could was a good idea.
Charlotte council members gathered Tuesday for a special meeting.
Mr. Hilliard presented myself and the deputy clerk with his resignation letter.
Mayor Tim Lewis says city manager Robert Hilliard's letter came as a shock last week, citing that when Hilliard was hired a year and a half ago, it was with a long-term expectation.
In line with the theme that we needed to move forward promptly, I suggested we consider picking up where we left off last year.
At-large council member Michael Dweck suggested the city work with Pivot Group Municipal Services for help recruiting a new city manager, as the firm has done in the past for Charlotte. The suggestion was quickly supported by council members Scott and Chin, but struck down by Rodriguez, Fullerton, and Christensen.
I think before we spend a single dollar, before we do anything, we better figure out why we keep chewing out and spitting out city managers so quickly.
Council went back and forth, some in favor of moving forward with Pivot Group and others concerned about the lack of consideration for other options.
That's not what I said, sir. No, it's not what I said.
What did you say?
Tensions boiled over as some members say they felt blindsided by the motion to pick Pivot Group.
Now I can tell just by the talk. I can tell this has been discussed. It ain't been discussed with me, but it has been discussed with other council members. And that's what I don't like.
There was no setup. I take some umbrage at the fact that you think that there was some kind of thing worked out.
Now, after much back and forth, there was an attempt to table the motion to go with Pivot Group, but the motion failed and a 4-3 vote approved the selection of the firm. Mayor Lewis says given these recent tensions, there will be another meeting in 2 weeks to discuss internal council policy. The city manager is still on the job as he gave 2 months' notice, but he was not at today's meeting himself.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
We had a trace amount of snowfall across mid-Michigan overnight into very early on this morning. Good news is that snow was not able to last for long. It was a very quick-moving system that kind of moved through the area. We were able to pick up on a lot of dry weather across mid-Michigan for our Tuesday. Actually saw a lot of sunshine earlier this morning. However, you'll notice on satellite and radar that widespread and very dense cloud cover has returned this evening, and we do have another area of low pressure kind of looming off to our northwest, which is going to give us another quick moving burst of light snow as we move into the day tomorrow. So we are staying dry for the rest of the evening and overnight tonight. Cloud cover will continue to increase across the area. We hold on to that dense cloud cover, but those dry conditions for the first half of our Wednesday. And then Wednesday afternoon, that system moves through. Kind of a couple of scattered, very light snow flurries will be possible across the area. That activity will begin to wrap up by the time we hit 8-9 o'clock Wednesday evening. After that, we are not only dry, but Precision Cast also showing again more in the way of sunshine possible just in time for our Thursday. Very similar to the system that we were dealing with yesterday evening into early this morning. This is only going to be a very light dusting of snow that we see across the area. I think the fact that this particular model is showing up to an inch of snowfall across the region is incredibly generous. So only a nuisance amount of snow that we are going to be dealing with. I don't suspect any significant impacts on the roads. But of course, with the snow, we also have to think about these chilly temperatures, and it looks like that cold air mass that we are currently dealing with is going to kind of be parked over our region for the next several days. The long-range temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center kind of puts that bullseye of below normal temperatures right off to our east. Notice we're still forecast to be below normal across mid-Michigan from December 8th all the way through December 12th, and you will notice those cooler temperatures in not only your 6-day forecast, but your 6+6 day forecast as well. Outside right now, very gloomy here in the the city of Lansing. Dense cloud cover was in place throughout the day, so we only made it up to a high of 29 degrees, same as our current temperature here in Lansing as well. Live look over in downtown Jackson. Roads are completely clear. Liquid equivalent of snow that we saw this morning, sitting right around 0.02 of an inch. Over in downtown Hillsdale, again, roadways looking completely fine. Temperatures 28 degrees after a high of 30. Both Hillsdale and St. John's made it up to a high of 30 degrees today. Notice in St. John's currently sitting right at 29 degrees. Overnight tonight, we're cooling down to 17 across mid-Michigan with those mostly cloudy conditions. In the forecast for tomorrow, again, a couple of those light snow flurries. It will be breezy, winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, so it's going to feel a lot cooler than that high of 31 degrees. We were able to make one slight improvement to the 6-day forecast Friday morning. Yesterday, we were talking about an overnight low of 6 degrees. We bumped it up by 1 degree thus far, but still overall in our 6-day forecast, I know Teresa, our producer, is cheering in my ear. In addition to that, we have a high temperature above freezing, 33 degrees the weekend after next.
So 6, 7?
6, 7. I was trying to avoid saying that on air, Jordan. That's why I said we bumped it up 1 degree.
Excited.
But yeah, we changed it from 6 to
we'll take
7.
It.
Kids are rejoicing at home.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, well, it's the first week of December, and that means it's time for one of our favorite annual traditions, the Day of Giving. It's our annual food and fundraising drive for the Greater Lansing Food Bank and South Michigan Food Bank. We've been doing this for nearly 20 years now. If you have non-perishable food you can give, you can drop it off here at the station in Lansing or at the location on your screen in Jackson. You can also donate money either in person or online through a link at WLNS.com. So thanks for giving, and we hope to see you on Friday for our annual Day of Giving.